Coming up on the February 11th edition of Sports Extra, UNC is swept away by the Hurricanes. Is Miami that good, or is it time to worry about the Tar Heels?
And everybody was kung fu fighting, or were they? We'll show you a UNC club where fighting your friends is allowed.
She's a member of a Carolina club sports team, and she doesn't even go here. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
Terrible, embarrassing. No, not the basketball team's display in Miami. Hello and welcome to the February 11th edition of Sports Extra. I'm Allie Massione.
And I'm Natalia Perez. We'll get back to the basketball team soon. But first, the Board of Governors' reaction to another report about the UNC academic scandal. Lou Bissett, the board member who led the panel that produced the report, says terrible scandal should never have happened. The panel says it will make several recommendations to help another UNC system schools to avoid similar problems. It wants student athletes to meet with academic advisors once a year to review majors and minors, schools to review admission policies, chancellors to review all teaching assignments, departments to improve faculty's relationships with athletics, and schools to track suspicious clusters of classes.
The men's lacrosse team is off and running. The Heels played their first game of the season under the lights at Fetzer Field on Friday. The Heels got off to a slow start in the first quarter, with Air Force winning the majority of the face-offs. At the end of the quarter, the score was all square, 3-3. With 1 second left before the end of the half, Jimmy Bitter found the bottom corner of the cage, bringing the score 8-6 Carolina. The Tar Heels knew they had to improve in the second half.
Offense, I don't think we were as patient in the first half, and then once we settled into their zone, we started to take advantage of the opportunities that presented themselves.
It wasn't just the offense that stepped it up in the second half. Freshman goalie Kieran Burke made 10 saves and gave up only 2 goals. The Heels took the win with the final score of 16-8.
The award for Tar Heel Player of the Week goes to Marcus Holman. Friday against Air Force, Holman, wearing the '1 jersey, had 6 assists and 2 goals, giving him 8 points against the Falcons. That's the most assists for a Tar Heel since 1997, when Spencer Deering had 6 assists in a game against Delaware. Holman is the most influential offensive player of the team this year. He's the solo captain and the leading force for the Tar Heels on and off the field. Holman says his teammates deserve the credit for Friday's performance.
My teammates are doing a great job getting open, and I guess to have a lot of assists, your teammates have to be good shooters, so they were finishing the shots.
Face-off Bearbrook named Holman preseason All-American.
The 5 Tar Heels fell to third-ranked Florida in their season opener Saturday at Fetzer Field. The Tar Heels scored 3 goals in the first 7.5 minutes of the game, but it was all downhill from there. Florida held Carolina scoreless for the final 52 minutes, while the Gators put away 5 goals for the win. Both defenses kept the score low, as each goalkeeper had 6 saves in the first half. UNC head coach Ginny Levy was surprised by the low numbers on the scoreboard.
Obviously, both programs have really good defenses. To hold a team to 5 goals is great. If someone told me I'd held them to 5 goals, I probably would have said, oh, we won the game.
Carolina will take on Townsend and Richmond next Wednesday, both on Fetzer Field. Some kids in Chapel Hill are highly skilled for their age. One of the members of the women's squash club team at UNC isn't even in college.
But she's already one of the very best among her peers in the United States. Tio Manval has a story.
Zoe Kagan is a senior at East Chapel Hill High School and also one of the top squash players in the country in the girls under 19 category.
Right now, my ranking is at number 44, which I think is unbelievable. I never thought that I'd be in the top 50.
Zoe started playing almost by accident. Her nanny got sick when she was 2 years old, and her dad had to bring her to his squash practice. She got hooked on the game, and her father finally taught her how to play year after year.
He's been my primary coach. He's my only coach. He's been my coach for my whole life, basically. And who better to have as my coach? I mean, he knows everything about me. He knows what to do on the squash court with me.
But being a squash player in the South is not easy. There are very few courts or people to train with. So even though she's just a high schooler, Zoe practices every week at Fetzer Gym with the UNC Squash Club. This is the only place where she gets to play competitively with other young people. And there are no tournaments in the South, so Zoe has to travel a lot to keep her rankings up.
I think last year, junior year, I calculated that I missed an eighth of the school year for squash.
Zoe's goal isn't to go pro, but she dreams of becoming a college varsity squash athlete. She applied to several universities, but not UNC, because there's no varsity team here.
It's certainly nothing against UNC, but she'd like to have a real varsity team experience if she can, and I think there's a good chance of her getting that this coming year or the following one.
Zoe hasn't committed to anywhere yet. She might take a gap year to train harder and get into a top squash university. In Chapel Hill, I'm Theo Manval.
If you'd like to see if you're as good as Zoe Kagan, make your way to Fetzer Hall, which has 6 squash courts.
UNC women's basketball head coach Sylvia Hatchell hit a career milestone Thursday. The Hall of Fame coach picked up her 900th win against Boston College. Only 2 other college women's basketball coaches have earned that many wins. Coach Hatchell joins us in the studio. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, and we're glad that you're here. How does it feel to achieve such an impressive feat?
Well, still hadn't sunk in, I guess, because we just look at one game at a time. But, I've just been very blessed to be at 2 great universities and have a lot of great players and surround myself with great coaches and all. So, but, when you think about that, I'm thinking, wow, I've been coaching a long time, But I still have that fire and that passion.
Well, good. And did you ever see yourself getting so far when you started your coaching career?
No, not really. In fact, my first year I was coaching, we lost 2 or 3 games in a row, and I'm not a good loser. And I actually went and applied for a job at UPS because I couldn't take losing. But then we started winning again, and then, so things got better. But I never had any idea that I would be coaching as long as I have.
Well, we're glad you stuck with it. You're currently 197 wins behind Coach Summit. What do you think it's going to take to surpass her in wins?
That's not my goal, is to pass Pat. Pat's done so much for the game and all. So, I love what I'm doing, and, I've got a great team now, and I've got a great recruiting class coming in next year. So, and my passion is as strong as ever. So I'm hoping to keep coaching, quite a few more years, and, the wins and losses will take care of themselves. But, my overall goal is not to pass Pat, trust me.
Well, you have coached a national championship team, several ACC championship teams, and even helped coach a U.S. Olympic team. What do you consider the highlight of your coaching career?
Well, of course, the 3 national championships, but probably the one in '94 because of the way we won. We were down by 2 points with 7/10 of a second on the clock, and we went for the 3 and won the national championship. So that has to be the ultimate.
I'm sure it was. And switching gears a little bit, talk about this season. You have a strong team. You guys started out unranked, but came out with a bang, winning the preseason NIT and big games against Maryland and Ohio State. You guys are relatively young with only 3 upperclassmen. Where do you hope to take this team for the rest of the season?
Well, this team has really surprised a lot of people. At the beginning, when we were not ranked, I said 2 things. I said, first of all, we are underestimated. We're better than people think we are. And second of all, we're going to be very, very hard to play against. And those 2 things have happened. This team, they just have a tremendous desire to win and to compete. We've had 6 games that we've won by less than 5 points. Every close game we've won this year. So, this is a special group. They got great chemistry, and we could go a long, long way.
Well, thanks again for joining us, and congratulations on your career milestone.
Thank you.
And I'm going to snag one of these sweet hats the team wore after Hatchell's 900th win. Victory Thursday night, but she would be able to make it 901 Sunday. Well, will she be able to make it 901 Sunday against the Yellow Jackets? UNC enjoyed an early lead, but the Yellow Jackets tied up the game after this turnover in the second half and took the lead with just a little less than 6.5 minutes to go. North Carolina struggled to come back, but regained the lead with this jumper from Tiara Ruffin-Pratt. Georgia Tech went to shoot a 3-pointer in the final seconds for the win, and it was no good. The Heels are now 10-2 in the ACC. And the men's basketball team ran into some foul weather during its trip to Miami this weekend.
The Heels got blown away by the Hurricanes Saturday, 87-61. Less than a minute into the game, senior forward Kenny Kaji made a three from way downtown, and things just got worse from there. Sophomore guard Shane Larkin goes off the backboard for the alley-oop for Kaji. Da-na-na, da-na-na. I'm serious. It was the number 2 on SportsCenter's top 10 plays. We have to take another look at that. And we all know who liked that, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, who were in the building. And we have 3 hidden stats this week. It was just too hard to choose. None of them very flattering to Coach Williams' Tar Heels. First, Miami's the first team to beat both Duke and UNC by at least 20 points in almost 40 years. Maryland whooped both the Blue Devils and the Tar Heels by that margin in the 1974-1975 season. Second, Miami's 15 three-pointers were the most against the Tar Heels since William and Mary made 16 in the first round of the 2010 NIT. Finally, Carolina has trailed by 19 or more points in 5 of its 7 losses this season, and by 28 or more points 4 times.
And juggling school and sports can be a challenge.
But one UNC athlete has managed to strike a balance abroad.
We don't win unless we work together. It's how we play our best.
It's how we survive on the field.
Now that same teamwork can save 13 million people
affected by the famine, war, and drought in the Horn of Africa.
Go to this site
and forward the facts to everyone you know.
The more people who know,
the more money we can raise.
And the more money we raise,
the more people we can help.
Because saving lives doesn't take a lot.
It just takes a lot of us.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
The first day stepping on the court, I couldn't keep up. That motivated me to step up my game. When I reach a goal, I set a new one the next day. And my next goal is to go to college. Mastering the court takes persistence. So does getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
The UNC golf team has only 1 freshman this year, and Keegan Cummings is giving all of the returning players a run for their money. Jennifer Brodish has the story.
The UNC golf team has only 1 freshman this year, and Keegan Cummings is giving all the returning players a run for their money.
I told him when he came in that we were returning 5 starters from last year's ACC team, and I wanted him to either push those guys to get better or push them out of the way. And so he's done both.
Keegan was born in South Africa, and he moved to Ireland when he was 5. He picked up golf when traveling back to Africa to visit family.
My granddad was an avid golfer, and he started me at about 11. So every time I'd go back, I'd play with him, and it gripped me, I guess, at some point.
Keegan moved to Florida when he was 16 in order to boost his chances of getting a scholarship to play golf at the collegiate level in America. And while in high school, he impressed Coach Andrew Sapp, who at the time was working at Michigan.
Really liked his golf game, really liked him as a player and a person. And so when I got the job here, I simply emailed him and said, hey, I've got a new job at North Carolina. Would you be interested in coming for a visit? And he jumped at the chance.
Since he's been in America, Keegan has adjusted to the different style of golf.
Well, in Ireland, I think 1/3 of the world's links golf courses are in Ireland, which are like on the ocean. So the wind plays a big factor and the weather's a lot different. And in America, it's more target golf.
Keegan has already set high goals for himself, and he hopes to stay in America after graduation and continue to play golf. He has 3 more years left at Carolina to work toward that goal. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jennifer Brodish.
Cummings and his teammates will begin the spring season this weekend in Puerto Rico. Tough life they have there. And not only do athletes come from far and wide to participate in sports here, UNC athletes also travel the world.
Each year, the women's gymnastics team travels across the country to compete. This past summer, one member of the team took her studies abroad. Because of time commitments, most Division I student athletes can only dream of a chance to study abroad, but varsity women's gymnastics member Michelle Ikoma made that dream a reality.
Studying abroad was honestly one of the most amazing experiences I've had.
Ikoma participated in a 6-week summer exchange program at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, where she studied international finance and Chinese philosophy. The redshirt junior said her trip abroad made her appreciate international cultures.
It was just an incredible opportunity to see so much of the world that I haven't seen before and to experience so many new things and to meet so many awesome people.
Even with a double major in business and exercise and sports science and a minor in math, Ikoma still manages to volunteer her time as an unofficial teacher's assistant. Ikoma says juggling class, practice, and meets can become somewhat of a challenge, but
I really enjoy everything I do. I love gymnastics. I've been doing it since I was 3, ever since I can remember, and it's fun for me to kind of be able to do a lot of different things and really to make the most of my time here at UNC.
And during her time at UNC, Ikoma has received a Phillips Ambassador Scholarship, an Arthur Ashe Scholarship, and 2 East Atlantic Gymnastics League all-academic honors, all of which highlight Ikoma's achievements on and off the mat. Ikoma and her teammates are in action tonight at 6 p.m. in Washington, D.C. And some things from abroad come here, like mixed martial arts.
Georgia Walker introduces you to a group of UNC students practicing an Olympic sport with its roots in Asia.
These UNC students don't need to carry around pepper spray. They're practicing the mixed martial arts sport of Taekwondo.
Well, Taekwondo has its origins from Korea. It's a relatively new martial art in that Taekwondo is a martial art all by itself. It's only about 60, 70 years old, but the roots go back, a couple hundred years through traditional Korea.
Taekwondo means the way of hands and feet in Korean, but at UNC, these athletes primarily focus on kicking. The unmistakable yell that comes from those practicing Taekwondo is the Korean term, kehap, meaning to shout or yell with great energy. Students shout this to maximize the power of the strike. The president of UNC's Taekwondo club, Casey Miller, practices the martial art as a recreational activity instead of a life skill.
It's very sport-based. Not that it's not applicable to real-life situations, because it can be, but we really drill kicking and technique more than takedowns and stuff like that.
As vicious as the fighting appears, they always hug and make up. After sparring matches, fighters bow to indicate respect for one another. The UNC team doesn't compete often, but instead members organize demo performances.
We added more, I'm going to call it creative stuff. So we have more choreographed things this year, and I was part of planning it, so I also get to hopefully see a payoff for helping to plan it.
The Taekwondo team will be showing off its kicks, flips, and leaps at Dance Marathon this weekend with their newest demo performance. In Chapel Hill, I'm Georgia Walker.
UNC Dance Marathon kicks off this Friday. And the groundhog saw his shadow, which means spring is coming soon.
We'll preview the baseball season after the break.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero ir. No lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs, just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Tar Heels softball team is the preseason favorite to win the conference this season.
Carolina kicked off the 2013 campaign in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the Tiger Classic Challenge. It was a rough start to the tournament. The Heels lost their opening 2 games to Tulsa and to the host, the LSU Tigers. Carolina rebounded with 3 straight victories against Purdue, Hampton, and a rematch win against 10th-ranked LSU. The Heels played again Wednesday, hosting a doubleheader against Radford University.
And joining us now is first-year second baseman Erin Satterfield. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem. The first team lost its first 2 games of the weekend. What was going through your head after that?
We had a slow start, but the coaches really tried to fire us back up. We had great opportunities. We put people on base, but we didn't follow through with those and create the runs that we needed to win. But following through, going into Saturday and Sunday, we really took advantage of those opportunities to win those 3 straight games.
Absolutely.
And like you said, you won the next 3 games and even got some revenge against LSU. How good can this Carolina team be for the rest of the season?
Well, we have a really promising season this year. We've worked really hard since August, and we have 6 great seniors this year to help us freshmen get acclimated to everything and push the team forward.
Absolutely. And you personally struggled a little bit in the first 2 games, but going 0 for 3, but you came back and you came back strong, and you moved up in the lineup, and you ended up going 3 for 5 in the past 2 games. That's a really good accomplishment. How did that make you feel, that boost of confidence there?
Well, thank you. As a freshman, that's what you hope for. You want to impress the coaches, but it really was the team that helped push us through those wins. And LSU, we had a couple great hits by my teammates that drew in those 3 runs.
Well, congratulations. It was really exciting, and I can't wait to see what more you do in the future.
Thank you.
And that was Erin Satterfield live in the studio. And there are also high expectations for the baseball team. Feels good to be number 1, doesn't it? But the top-ranked Heels are getting ready for the season opener on Friday and are hoping for their 6th trip to the College World Series in the past 8 years. Coach Mike Fox has a powerful lineup this year, augmented by lots of speed on the bases and 2 strengths that have propelled recent teams deep into the playoffs. Great starting pitch and a stellar bullpen, the Heels start the home weekend series against Seton Hall on Friday at 3.
The men's tennis team put on a dominant display Saturday, winning every match in its doubleheader against Navy and James Madison. In the first match, the Tar Heels swept Navy in doubles and went on to win 4-0. A few hours later, the Heels edged out James Madison in doubles. Carolina then went on to sweep the singles, leading to a 7-0 final score against the Dukes. The 23rd-ranked Heels are now 5-2 and will face UT Chattanooga and North Carolina Central in another doubleheader on February 24th.
And the women's tennis team headed into the National Indoor Championships a 6th seed, needing a couple of upsets to advance in the finals. The Heels beat Texas A&M in the opening round of the tournament 4-0. Then they got exactly what they needed, an upset against the USC Trojans 4-3 in the second round, and another upset in the semis, except this time a little bit sweeter as Duke goes down in flames. And it's today's championship match. The Heels came from behind to beat UCLA 4-3 and take the title. Congratulations, ladies. And remember this movie?
We'll tell you the true story of Coach Herman Boone next on Sports Extra.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Get your ass out. You're not in here.
Yes, I am.
Move. him hard!
No. Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why are you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh,
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Let them have your toothbrush so that they can brushy brush your teeth. Good job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now spit! Help your teeth stay healthy. Brushy brush with a grown-up every day.
Before we get into the upcoming week's schedule for the men's basketball team, February is Black History Month.
And today we'll take a look at what North Carolina native Herman Boone, made famous by the movie Remember the Titans, is up to. Kathleen Fitzgerald has the story.
Although he's no longer coaching at T.C. Williams, Herman Boone continues to remind us about important lessons in racial equality.
And this is why I pass this on to the youth, because it's up to you to replace us. It's up to you to replace us and replace narrow-minded thinking in this country. And how you do it with one single individual. It's like I said, it's like a father passing a baseball to his son. That's a tradition for a father to do, is to pass a baseball to his son. But then the key thing is that son is going to pass that baseball on to his son. So it's up to you, those of you who are going to replace us on the face of this earth, make this earth a better place if you can.
This belief is why Boone now travels across the country speaking. Recently, he paid a visit to UNC to share his thoughts.
Only you decide how you would react and reflect to diversity. And only you can make changes. And that comes from you. And it starts with the individual.
I was afraid of you, Julius. I only saw what I was afraid of. And now I know I was only hating my brother.
The movie is about how one can learn to accept the soul of an individual rather than reject an individual based on the color of his skin.
And that's a lesson we can all learn from. In Chapel Hill, I'm Katherine Fitzgerald.
Boone actually got his first head coaching job at a high school here in North Carolina. And it's one of the greatest rivalries in sports. We all know it. Wednesday is the 234th meeting of the Duke and UNC men's basketball teams. While UNC has the all-time lead against Duke, the Tar Heels haven't been looking too hot against the Blue Devils in recent years. UNC has lost to Duke in 5 out of the past 7 games the two teams have played, including the unfortunate 2011 ACC championship game.
Let's take a look back at the longest game in UNC men's basketball history. On February 14th, 1976, Coach Dean Smith and his Tar Heels took on the Tulane Green Wave. The game went to 4 overtimes. Walter Davis led the Heels with 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 steals. Carolina went on to win the game 113-106. And you know, this weekend marks a very special day for all Tar Heel fans. February 17th, this Sunday, is Michael Jordan's 50th birthday.
A very special date indeed. And in all seriousness here, Allie, let's break it down. If Michael Jordan didn't grace this earth 50 years ago, who in the heck would have saved the adorable Looney Tunes from the Monstars in Space Jam?
You know, that's a good question. Thank goodness for MJ is all I can say.
He's definitely a legend, and I look forward to celebrating his birthday on Sunday, even though he doesn't know I'm going to be celebrating it for him. That does it here for Sports Extra.
We hope to see you next week. Good night.